挽回。
He does the whole thing! He does the whole thing!
Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're reviewing Battlefield 6. I have clocked in, over 56 hours. I know that's not much compared to launch, but I am now confident enough to speak on the game. I've tried everything the game has to offer in that time, and I'm very confident in giving what I think will be an objective review. Battlefield 6 is an attempt to go back to the core of what Battlefield is. What is that? Battlefield is supposed to be some amalgamation of 3 and 4. And games like 5 represented a departure from what modern Battlefield is. And Battlefield 1 was a successful experiment. Just like Hardline was maybe a less successful experiment. But the core of Battlefield is supposed to be somewhere between 3 and 4. Either one. So if that is the case, if that's what Battlefield is supposed to be, then this game is successful in doing that. I like the new movement. I like the movement. I like the prone movement. I like the crowd sprinting, and the movement just feels smoother. Going prone, dolphin diving, kind of, it all works together. Being able to jump and shoot is also kind of cool. And I think these extra movement options brought about the comparison with Call of Duty, which, is inevitable because in older Battlefield games you couldn't do that. You couldn't jump and shoot at the same time because earlier Battlefield games felt a little bit more weighty. But now the characters feel lighter and there's a lot of movement options and great speed as well. So when it comes to the maps, I think Liberation Peak is very good map. It's a traditional map, even though I'll say there are a little bit too many corridors, especially around the sea flag, because the sea flag basically has only 2 entrances, and you have to pass through those 2 entrances to get to the sea flag. I think that is a little bit narrow. They kind of made the map smaller in that respect. So once you take sea flag, you can just set up your defenses and you know pretty much where the attacks are going to come from. It's either from the south or from the north, east or west, basically. So, but D flag is a little bit more open, E flag, F flag. I think that's kind of the issue of Liberation Peak, but it's easily the best map in the game. Is it? No. Let's just go around. Empire State. I love Empire State. I like the modern map design. I like the modern setting, and I'll get to that because I spoke about modern setting, that is. And the word is not even modern, it's urban. Urban warfare is a word I've been using since the game got announced, since we had the reveal, since we played the beta. Urban warfare is something that they should take more seriously going forward. I love New Sobek City. I love Mirak Valley. I think these 2 maps might actually be better than Liberation Peak because the flags don't have the kind of restrictions that the sea flag does on Liberation Peak. So actually, I think Sobek City and Mirak Valley are the better maps in the game. Operation Firestorm I do not like. I think that may just be a personal bias thing. It's been so long since I played Battlefield 3, and I played Battlefield 3 2011 all the way to 2013 when I stopped. So my memories of Firestorm are not that many, but I remember it being a good map back then. But I don't know why in Battlefield 6 it's not a good map. It's just not. Then you have Siege of Cairo. Good map, a little bit narrow. It doesn't help vehicles because the path The path of movement is so limited, so you will get killed if you're using tanks. You will get killed by mines and other anti tank ordnance. A little bit annoying. Uh, Saints Quarter. Saints Quarter is a close quarters map. It's kind of cool, but it seems so similar to Iberian Offensive. And Iberian Offensive is a very good map, but Saints Quarter is, let's say, less impressive. It's a CQC map. It only does like domination and close quarters game modes, but I don't really rate it like that. But I think Iberian Offensive is a very very good map. These two maps here, Empire State and Iberian Offensive. Empire State, no vehicles. Yeah, no vehicles in the game. Just on your feet. Manhattan Bridge, I Manhattan Bridge is a little bit strange because you have choppers and you have tanks, but the map is clearly not designed for vehicles at all. Like it's just not. Like vehicles are just not viable in the map, especially the aerial vehicles. So Liberation Peak is a map where you have your stats, New Sobek, same thing, Mirak Valley, same thing, Operation Firestorm, same thing. But Siege of Cairo is just tanks. Iberian Offensive just tanks. Empire State is just uh it's just your infantry movement. And as I'm speaking to you, of course, Blackwell Fields also. I love Blackwell Fields. I think Blackwell Fields is actually the best map in the game. The only issue I would have, what the only the only issue I would have with Blackwell Fields, what's going on? The only issue I have with Blackwell Fields is the theme. It's like each map in Battlefield 6 has like a color filter, a color palette that permeates the entire map. So it's orange, then you have this bluish color of Liberation Peak, this color of Iberian Offensive, this color of Sobek City, and this color of Mirak Valley. It's so difficult to have a map that just has its own objective colors, and then you have Siege of Cairo. I don't know if that is done to help with visibility so that when you see a person moving, you can, because of the sameness of the color scheme, you can maybe pick the person out. I don't know, but that's just how it is. I find it strange that each map has a color palette and color scheme. It doesn't seem like the map itself speaks to you. The color is also part of the map. I I don't understand the design, the reason behind that design decision. But I'll say Blackwell Fields. I had a good time playing Blackwell Fields. It's new. It came out after for season one. Very very good map. Of these maps, I don't like Manhattan Bridge. Six Quarter Meh. My least favorite is definitely Operation Firestorm. I just do not like the map. It's just it's just weird. It's just, I don't know. I would say it's too open. It's too open. You get exposed, especially on some of the game modes like Rush. Rush is just a KD killer. I much prefer Breakthrough, which came in Battlefield One, and I think that was all I'll say for the maps. We'll come back to it when I want to make some other points, because, for example, speaking of urban warfare and modern warfare, which is what Battlefield is supposed to be, if you're making a game like this, I think the game is supposed to be a sandbox, right? So, as I said, the overall gameplay is good. Guns are fine. Guns are well balanced. Everything's good. It's a good Battlefield game in terms of moment to moment gameplay and the way the guns handle and the way the character moves, skill gap, skill ceiling, skill level, skill base, skill height, skill ceiling. I think everything is good. When you get into a chopper, you have to learn how to control the chopper properly so you can make yourself useful. But choppers don't last because the maps don't help you too much other than New Sobek City. New Sobek City, there's a lot of buildings that cover you so you can walk your way around that. Um, but that being said, modern combat, urban warfare. I think that Battlefield is not necessarily BF4, BF3, or BF1, right? As opposed to, let's say, 2042, BF5, and Hardline. I think Battlefield is something that is a sandbox. Battlefield is supposed to be a sandbox. Battlefield is a game where you drop in, you're in a large map, conquest, you have these things around you which you can use to your advantage. Obviously, you have your weapons, you have your gadgets, but you should also be able to use the environment against you. That's where you talk about destruction. That's where like Bad Company 2. That's where you talk about using other vehicles, using other things to be able to create an advantage. To me, I said it in the preview, in a map like this, in a map like Empire State, I think that you should be able to use these vehicles, the fire truck, the cop car, whatever the case may be, use it to your advantage. If you remember, Battlefield 3, there was a map you could get on a forklift. There was some forklifts in the warehouse, and you could commandeer the forklift. Battlefield 2042, you had these tuk-tuks, these electric tuk-tuks you could use. They're just on the map. They're not military. They're not, military weapons. They're just things that you use to bridge the gap of gameplay between what the game is designed to be, and how the player expresses himself. The fact that this game doesn't have that, where it says you just have to drive the tank, you just have to drive the chopper, and if the map doesn't give you choppers or tanks, you can't use them. Why? You should be able to commandeer a vehicle, and of course, these vehicles, they shouldn't respawn if they're destroyed. They should just be destroyed, stay destroyed, and that's just how it is. That's just what happens. If you use them, for example, you pile up a couple of trucks or a couple of cop cars to create a defense, all well and good. All well and good. It's part of the sandbox. It's part of the ability to let the player express himself. And Battlefield 6 doesn't have that. And that's something that you could have done, I think, would have made the game a little bit better, because where you create these restrictions, each map, each game mode just feels the same. That's why you are hearing these whispers of people being tired of the game, of bots filling up lobbies because people are just logging out and playing other games. And I'm saying that if you want your game to be truly great, give the powers of expression to the players. In Siege of Cairo, you're in a city. And remember, as I said, this is modern warfare, but it's also urban warfare. You're fighting in a city. There are cars. The map is filled with cars, not just cars. There's like police trucks. There's like different things in the map that a player should be able to use. Even if it's limited because of how tight the streets of Cairo are, you should be able to use them. Liberation Peak is more of a warfare map, so there are no cars there. But if there are bikes or something, a player should be able to commandeer these things to allow them to move from place to place to place. I said it in my last video talking about it. I just think that there should be more expression. And I will say that one of the things I really didn't like was the fact that when you are in the truck that the game gives you to drive, the military jeep, you have a radio, right? You have a Battlefield radio, and you have like 6 different radio stations. Exactly. So why do you waste time giving the player the opportunity to listen to music while in the middle of a battle, but the player cannot commandeer other cars? What's the point of having the music there? Like, literally, the music in that car is useless because of the chaos around you. So why are you giving me an option in my command wheel for music while I'm driving? Why am I listening to music? I'm in the middle of a conquest gameplay. I find it very, 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 very strange. So the issue, I would say, goes beyond what you can do in the game. I'll just run very quickly over what I didn't like in the game. The radio, I don't like it because it has no use. There's no point to it. I've spoken about that already. Rush has always been a KD killer, but if you are able to set up a good defense, the game does give you lots of tools to help. So even though I don't like Rush, I've gotten some very good games on Rush, very, very enjoyable games. Maybe it will depend on the level of skill of your opponent, which I think many of these games depend on. Maybe if your skill isn't that great, you want people who are far less qualified than you to have a very good game. I guess that's fine. One of my main issues has always been inconsistent hit registration. When you're in a match and you're fighting against somebody, you could hit him 4 or 5 times, he doesn't get hit. you get hit and you die. Or you're running, because Battlefield is a lot of running, because you're trying to run from one flag to another flag, and you're able to find cover, but then you die behind cover. That's a little bit strange. The grinding, I guess they fixed the grinding. They reduced some of the qualifications for you to get the new stuff, new gadgets, new weapons. That was very kind of them to do. Portal, I don't really get it. It's a little bit strange. I'm not really seeing that much. I mean, there's so much going on. It's a little bit confusing, and the menu doesn't really help you navigate exactly what is going on. I mean, I never played 2042 Portal, but I'm not impressed with BF6 Portal, to be fair. And I mean, they're not even calling it Portal, are they? They're calling it Community. I don't even know what that means. But Portal is meant to compensate for the fact that the maps are not diverse enough. And I don't mean diverse in terms of setting. I mean diverse in terms of philosophy, in terms of general layout. Like, I'll give an example. Whereas, so this is Zavod. This is BF4, right? This is Zavod. You can see you're on the back of a bike, and you just move. Okay, it's a quad bike. So you can see how the map works. You can see you have, obviously it's the same kind of principle, but you have trees. Then you have the refinery, factory type thing. And then you're capping the flag. And it's like a railway station. Right? An abandoned cargo rail setup. Right? That's the fun. Now let's look at Gomwood Railway. Look at Gomwood Railway. You have Gomwood Railway, you have huge map with a railway going through the middle, and the train is a flag. I think C flag or maybe D flag, I forget. See how big and open it is. You have room for doing different things. And can I just say, this is a little bird. BF6 has only the attack chopper and the carrier chopper. That's it. You don't have this one that is in the middle where you and your squad can just hop on, and in fact the other passengers can also carry the anti-airs. While the pilot has the opportunity to shoot and defend the bird itself. It's lagging like crazy, but you get the point. These are two different. The maps are different, very, very, and I don't mean just in size. I mean in philosophy. You don't see much of a difference between Siege of Cairo and New Sobek City. There's just not much of a difference. And then, Liberation Peak is different enough, but Sense Quarter and Liberian Offensive are quite similar. Then Manhattan Bridge and Empire State are, to me, basically the same map. Like, it was difficult at first to tell the difference. The difference started becoming the fact that you have no vehicles in Empire State. And it's somehow just slightly the better map, basically. So, and Firestorm is Firestorm. It has always been a classic map. Right? So, I think the maps are philosophically similar to one another. Then, in terms of game modes, you have Conquest. You have Rush, you have Breakthrough, which Rush and Breakthrough are kind of the same thing. I'll say Rush is obviously harder because you have to arm on the MCOM and stuff like that. And then, so Conquest, Rush, Breakthrough, what else? What are the other game modes? Forgotten already. BF6 game modes. Escalation. Escalation. What happens in escalation? I forget. Let's see what an escalation gameplay looks like. Is that like the BR mode?
Battlefield 6 has officially launched, and there's so much to do and is a bit like Conquest. There are many capture points scattered around the map, and whoever holds the majority is effectively winning.
Oh yeah. I played this. I forgot that I played this. Yeah, so it's a variation of Conquest. Yes, I thought that was. So I think over each round, if you win the first round, then by next round, some of the points are gone. Some of the capture points are gone, something like that. Yeah, so it's a variation of Conquest. Let's see. Let's just go over them one by one. So escalation, yeah. Breakthrough, yeah, we're talking about breakthrough. So domination, you have the close quarters map, the close quarters game modes, standard domination, standard keep of the hill. I think that's very, very those are also quite good. Deathmatch, squad deathmatch, that's fine. But breakthrough, yeah. So escalation, yeah, it's basically a variation of conquest, but some positions will be removed after a while. Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, I do not think that Battlefield 6 has enough game modes which offer sufficient variety. I will give you an example. Where is let's see. Yeah. This is how a game of obliteration begins. Obliteration comes where you parachute in towards a bomb. The bomb, there's only one bomb, and you fight over the bomb. You get the bomb. You deliver the bomb to any of these three places. Whoever first to three wins. So you can see in this map, the US already have lost 2 bomb points, and then the Chinese still have 3. So this is how you get in. This is how you spawn in. You spawn in by parachuting in. So that is diversity, gameplay diversity. Conquest, escalation, and breakthrough are the same thing. And rush, really, when you think about it, rush just means that you have to arm an MCOM, but conquest, escalation, breakthrough are the same thing. Breakthrough is capture 2 points to win, right? Rush is arm 2 MCOMs to win. Conquest is capture 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 6 to win. Escalation is capture more points to win. So you get the point. So philosophically, these 3 game modes are the same. Rush feels more like a search and destroy, but with limited lives, which is search and destroy. So philosophically, they're kind of the same thing. So really, it just feels like you're playing the same game mode over and over and over again. Why don't we have pick up the bomb, arm the bomb? Why? What is wrong with having that? What is wrong with a Battlefield game launching with capture the flag? What is wrong with that? Like, why can't we do capture the flag? Or some variation which is similar to what obliteration is. So, just another point, the destruction is nice. The destruction is good. It's dynamic enough, but I would say that you'll notice very quickly that certain things are destructible and certain things are not. So the game does try to strike a happy medium between what is destructible and what is not. But the problem is, as a player, you can't really tell. For me, everything should be destructible and interactable, but not everything is. So even if the developer doesn't want to change the outlook and the philosophy of a map, you should at least be able to interact with certain parts of the map. You should be able to interact with everything that you see. That being said, you will notice that in this Battlefield game, at launch, there is 0 naval combat. 0. No boats, no jet skis, 0. At launch. Isn't that strange? And the funny thing is, nobody's even talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that the Battlefield game launched with infantry, air combat and tanks, but no naval combat. I'm surprised nobody has pointed that out. Nobody. This is what Battlefield is supposed to be. This is Battlefield 4 Paracel Storm. Let's watch. Look! Right fucking there. Let's listen. Look, just look at this. Now, one problem Battlefield 6 has is that you don't have enough vehicle space for players to all spawn in and get a vehicle and be able to move to the capture points. A lot of times people get left behind and either there's not enough vehicles and the rest of them have to literally walk to the E flag or to the A flag and then capture the flag at some point, maybe 2 minutes after that, a tank is coming and you're dead. But look at this. There's a jet ski, there's raid boats, and there's fighter boats. You can see the diversity of the types of boats that we have. These are 3 different sea vehicles. This is launch, by the way. Paracel Storm was a launch map. Look. Just look at this. Just leave me alone, guys. This is an AC-130. This is an AC-130. You capture what flag? I forget. I think you capture D flag. No, maybe not D flag. I wonder which flag you capture. It gives you access to a C-130. Look. This is player controlled. Yes, it has a defined route, just circling the D flag, but someone is in it doing damage from the sky. And then the choppers and the jets have to fight it. Look, it's already at half health. Boats versus choppers, jets versus carriers. Like the gap, guys. There's a gap here. There is something. There's a bit of soul missing. It's night and day, guys. All right. So I mean that wasn't fair. That was fucking awesome. This weapon is a battle pickup. It's I've forgotten the name, but there's like there's an anti-material rifle, and there's this one as well. So it's a sniper that it's any hit kill. Dynamic weather. Dynamic weather in the map. Yes. That's obliteration right there. Look, isn't this awesome? Come on, man. I don't like. I know I'm supposed to be reviewing Battlefield 6, which I will try to do, but if the marketing and the instruction and the orientation of this game is to go back to the basics, go back to what Battlefield is. This is Battlefield. These moments, and you don't have this kind of moment. You don't have this kind of moment in the game because everything is about capturing points. But look at this, we're fighting over a singular objective. Get the bomb. Chase the guy with the bomb. Who has eyes on the bomb? Let's kill this guy with the bomb. Oh, look at how everyone's chasing him. The guy behind you is also trying to survive. Bomb drop. So it doesn't have to be capture the flag. It's a variation of capture the flag. He's going with the bomb. Yeah, Levolution. I miss Levolution. I think that this game could have done with Levolution in addition to the destruction. Yeah, 12 years ago. 12 years ago, this is what Battlefield 4 was giving us: conquest, obliteration, naval warfare, all on launch. And China Rising was not a joke either. China Rising was fucking awesome. I mean, you had Bombay Run. What was it? Silk Road. Oh my days, bro. Silk Road, man. Ask anybody who's playing Battlefield. Ask them if they played Silk Road. They'll tell you. So you get the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that they've not done enough. They don't understand what Battlefield is, because if they understood, they would know that there are Battlefield players who like naval maps, who like going on the boats. There are Battlefield players who don't necessarily like the chopper. They like the little bird because the little bird is more agile. It moves quicker than the attack chopper. The attack chopper is a little bit more stiff. The little bird is more flexible. You can literally dodge rockets with a little bird. You can, or you could. So, we've seen the not contradiction, but the contrast between what Battlefield 6 is doing and what Battlefield 4 was, or older Battlefields. And what I want is for that gap to be bridged to make this a good game. You're targeting 100 million players. The only way to do that is to bring everyone together. In gamer expression, their expression, you should give people the ability to express themselves in different ways. It's not just having a fucking radio in your vehicle, which I know nobody cares about. I know it. So why would you do that? It's irrelevant. Like, the radio is really the thing that pisses me off the most. And it's not supposed to. So, before I go to my final thoughts, I will also speak about things I would like to see in the game. For example, when you're playing in BF4 or older BF games, when you bring up your chat, when you not your chat, when you bring up your commands, you had go, positive, negative, or confirm, something like that. You had thanks, need supply, need pickup, need repair, right? They trimmed out a lot of those things. And now it doesn't even show up on the chat. I don't know if that's one of the 1 million settings, but to me, a game is defined by its default settings, right? The default settings tell you how the developer wants you to play the game. That's the way I see it. And if it's not in the game, that's a crying shame. And B, if it's not in the, or B, if it's in the setting, well, you shouldn't hide it behind the setting. It should be part of the game that you can turn off. But the tradition, the normal thing to do is even a common comment, or not comment, a command of go. Command of go is so, and then it was executed with proximity. So if we're in the same vehicle and I say go, it shows up on your feed that the person in the tank with you is saying go. So those things do add up to make a very seamless Battlefield experience. This is the game that got my Call of Duty brother into Battlefield 4. And so for some reason, well, according to the internet, Battlefield 6 is much closer to Call of Duty. I don't agree per se, but I see where the comparison is coming from. But I just think that the game needs to be a little bit more Battlefield. Those things, those chats, those commands that come up on your chat, they are important. And the fact that they took them out means that they're trying to do something, which I don't think is Battlefield. Being squad leader, I know at the start of the game it shows that you are, and there's a very small icon showing that you're the squad leader, but you can't even request an order. Requesting orders used to be the method by which you became squad leader if the squad leader doesn't give an order, right? Now, following orders, it's a big map. You have a fake AI commander. We'll get to commander mode later, but you have an AI commander who tells you which place to attack. Meanwhile, you have your squad and your squad leader who should also be giving orders. And I am not seeing the benefits of squad leaders giving orders and squad mates following orders. Yes, you get the extra 100 points when you follow the commander's order, but I just think that squad leaders have to be given a little bit more agency, a little bit more priority. Like, if you spawn in, you should say your squad leader, give your team commands to do this and get extra points. Like, you have to be able to encourage players to utilize their power as squad leader, and B, if you are in a squad that has a squad leader who's not giving orders, you should be able to request the order, and the request for an order pops up on the squad leader's log, and he says, oh yeah, okay, I'm the squad leader, I have to give an order. That is the point of the command box. That's the point of the chat box. It's not just to type in racism and stuff like that, but for you to actually communicate quickly and play the game, because not everyone has the time to bring up the chat box and type the request and type something. The command wheel should be able to deliver the amount of communication that is required to coordinate with the team, because you don't have time to bring out the computer and start typing a message. So that to me is very, very important. The ability to request orders and the incentive for squad leaders to give orders. I think it's very, very important. And squad leaders should be able to change during a match, as it was before. If you request an order 3 times and the squad leader does not give an order, you become the squad leader and you start giving orders. Simple. It was such a seamless, perfect system, and I don't know where it went. I don't know why they took it out. Because right now, squad leaders actually have no use. They don't do anything. Everyone that listens to me knows what I'm talking about. That being said, speaking of squads, commander mode. I said this in the beta. I said this game needs a commander mode because it's just. Let's watch it one more time, and I will explain where.
Commander is online.
You hear that? You hear that thing? That sentence, heads up, commander is online. That sentence in the peak of Battlefield 4, that sentence used to be, or could be, the difference between winning and losing. You could be losing a game, and the minute you hear that your side has a commander, you could win. You could be down 300 points. But the fact that you have a commander who is good, coordinating with the squad leaders, see that again? You can actually turn the tide of battle in your favor. Let's watch how.
The commander is the only player on the team that has a unique overview of the entire battle. From there, you can provide orders and assets.
You see that? But in this game, it's just a stupid AI commander says attack A, defend B. Why? It should be a player doing that.
The range of assets that you have at your disposal is directly connected to your team's performance under your command.
See that?
The commander supports his team in 3 different ways. The first layer is the intel warfare. This is where you gather intel, but you also prevent the other commander from doing so. The second layer is about providing your troops with vehicle drops, supply drops, to keep the war machinery going. And the final layer, that's when you go on the offensive.
Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How can we have all this? And it's just gone, and everyone thinks that Battlefield 6 is back. Like, Battlefield is back. Look at this! Is this in Battlefield 6? No, it's not.
And on top of all of this, you will be able to play as a Battlefield 4 commander on a tablet connecting to a live game server, on PC or console, making it a true next-generation team play experience.
Oh yeah, the pointing. Why did they take out the pointing from the spotting? Why? We saw what they did with it in Hardline, where the robbers actually flip off their helicopter or something like that. You have those different animations, those little things. Why did they take it out? Why did they take out the pointing? Why? So you see the difference, right? And what you saw there, for example, you saw, where is it? You go on the offensive, right? Where was it? Right there.
On the offensive.
Call him the C-130. That's what happened in that other map, actually. That's what happened in the Parasol Storm map. But some maps, I think Gold Mode gives you access to a C-130. Maybe, it's been so long, but it's actually possible that it's just the commander who gives you a C-130. And that's kind of the point. The point is that in a game like Breakthrough, right, let's say, where's Battlefield 1 for it? No, let's go to. So if you win these operations, right? Is the same. Operations is the same thing as breakthrough, right? So let's say you win.
Failed. Too much blood has been lost for no gain. Stand tall, men, for we must fight again, and fight harder.
I want the actual. Oh, perfect. You're trying to take the sector. Watch what happens.
Il nostro attacco è fallito, ma non è ancora finita. Se sapremo reagire da veri italiani, allora queste pareti di roccia che ci sovrastano crolleranno, come l'impero nemico.
Abbiamo ricevuto un dirigibile come rinforzo.
So, for fuck's sake, you failed to capture the breakthrough, right? What happens? You get reinforcements. Now, the enemy has to deal with the infantry, the tanks, and now this motherfucker right here. It's epic. It's, scale. It's different. It's not just, there are tanks, we have to kill the tanks. Here we have something dynamic. Now, the person who spawns in with the anti-air missile by mistake has something to use it on. That's kind of the point. That's what I've been trying to get at here. The breakthrough is too simplistic. If you fail the breakthrough in BF6, if you fail this breakthrough, that's the end of the match. Why? Why don't we continue? Why don't we try again? Why don't you give me an opportunity? You saw that 2 attacks left, it said. Where is it? Two attacks left.
Il nostro attacco è fallito, ma non è ancora finita. Se sapremo come
So, these are the 3 best Battlefield games. BF3, BF4, and BF1. What is the harm in taking the best bits of the best games and putting it into this one game? And why do we say, oh no, we can do it later in season 6 or season 7? Why can't we just launch the game with all the content, with all the good stuff, and then you start with your best bits, and then you now have to work really, 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 really hard to provide value going forward in the live service. I don't understand why. So that's what I want. I want there to be dreadnoughts, let's call them dreadnoughts, for breakthrough mode. Of course, more maps, more diverse maps, bring more modes, better modes than these. Because these two are the same. These two are the same right here. And honestly, these two are the same. And then honestly, these 4 are the same. So the game literally has only, and let's be honest, domination, conquest, actually these are all the same map. They're all the same game mode, other than Rush. So Battlefield 6 has only 3 game modes. But obliteration, capture the flag, is different from these game modes. You're not capturing points. You're fighting for an objective, and you're going to transport that objective to a particular zone. That's capture the flag. That's capture the flag. That's what's it called? Obliteration. So we need that. And as you saw with obliteration, you parachute in, and that's what I was saying. If you should have the ability, your spawn beacon, if it's in the sky, or not in the sky, if it's above, if it's not covered by anything, you should be able to parachute in, like you could in BF4. Why? Some stupid idiot enemy could be standing over your spawn beacon waiting for you to spawn in and kill you. But if you're coming from the sky, you have the drop on him, or you have the ability to move to another location. I don't understand why they just forgot that you could actually parachute into the game. Parachuting into the game gives you the opportunity to look at the entire map or look at the area and give reconnaissance to your teammates. One thing I can also ask for is in operations, well, I keep calling it operations, but breakthrough, you should be able to mix in different things other than just getting enough bodies into the capture points. Other than just getting enough bodies into the capture points, why don't you also give the attackers or the defenders additional objectives in the match? So, for example, the attackers have limited lives. If you give them an additional objective, which is maybe blow up this MCOM or deliver this bomb to this place to blow this up, or to disable some kind of jammer or something to get 50 additional reinforcements, you can now have people going there to perform that objective, and the defenders aren't just lying down camping the passing lanes to get to the capture point. It diversifies the gameplay. What game was it? I think it was Killzone. Killzone had something similar in Warzone, was it? Something like that. Warzone was, let's see. So Warzone is, in one match, you have 7 different game modes. There's attack and defend, 3 different games of attack and defend, which is assassination, search and destroy, and I think some kind of capture the flag situation, and then you had team deathmatch to finish it off. Best 4 out of 7 wins. So what I'm saying is, in the match, as the battle to go in to the capture point rages, you should have side objectives like this. Blow up this jammer to give us 25 additional reinforcements. Things like this. It makes the game less brainless, because invariably all that happens is, let's just throw as many bodies into this capture point as possible. Meanwhile, the defending team is surrounding the capture point and just waiting for these lambs to come for the slaughter. I just think it's a little bit too brainless, and I think that adding additional things to do will help diversify the gameplay. So those are the things that I would like to see. Those are the things I think will make the game better. I hope it does, come out that way. But just as a way to wrap up, my final thoughts. As I said, the gameplay itself is very, very good. The gunplay, the guns feel nice. I wish maybe the LMGs need a little bit more bass to make them sound properly heavy. Like if you played games like Black and some other games that the LMGs sounded, evil. That's kind of what we want. But the maps are okay. It's just there's a serious lack of diversity. And honestly, I had this feeling after playing the game for 50, 60 hours. And I had the feeling like I'm bored. Like I'm tired. I played Conquest. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm a battle dad. But I played Conquest and I just got bored of it. The most interesting gameplay mode, the most interesting game mode is Breakthrough. And I don't know the genius who came up with the idea of adding casual Breakthrough, the one that has bots in it. But it's so good, for, unlocking your weapons and stuff like that. But it just provides a calm, safe environment where your chances of meeting another player are lower. The reason why that is the case is because when you are interacting with another player, the netcode comes into factor. Like you could be shooting somebody and the bullets will just be going through the person. that's how you know the person you're shooting at is a fellow player, because the hit registration is so bad at times. So that's kind of the problem. But the maps are good enough, as I said, but not sufficiently diverse. Sobex City is very good. Mirak Valley very good. Black Wolf is very good. Liberation Peak very good. And not Manhattan Bridge, but was Empire State is very good. The rest I'm not too thrilled about. Liberation Peak also very good. And I keep calling it Mirak Valley. I put the extra A because of Mira from Skyrim. So that's just a funny inside joke. But yeah. That being said, final score for Battlefield 6. I would like to give it a 7, but I don't think 7 is a good enough score for a game that has really 3 game modes, honestly. The gadgets, I've used all the gadgets, most of them. I'm not seeing much that intrigues me. As I said, the gameplay is good enough, but because it's not diverse, because you don't parachute in like with the spawn beacon, because you don't have the little bird, as an in-between of the carrier chopper and the attack helicopter, because you don't have the naval gameplay, just as a proper Battlefield experience, air, sea, land, because the maps are not too diverse, because the maps are not, it cannot be higher than a 6 out of 10. Battlefield 6 cannot be higher than a 6. Can I give additional decimal points on the 100-point system? Maybe like a 6.7, 6.8. Yeah, but it's not a 7. I like the game, but I mean, after under 50 hours, I'm kind of bored. Oh yeah. That being said, what about RedSec, Redacted Sector, the Battlefield Battle Royale? I've not had a win yet, I'll say, but I find it. How do I say? Honestly, the hit registration in the BR is actually better than in multiplayer. I would say that. Like, pointing your gun and shooting at somebody works. Like, you deal the damage, or you get the hits that you want, to be fair. It's much better. Like, enemy interaction is much better in RedSec than in multiplayer, I can say that. But I've not honestly played the mode long enough and placed well enough and done well enough to give an overall rating on the experience. But what I would say is that the hit registration is much better. I had an issue where I was trying to take cover. They called an airstrike on the building and they leveled the entire building and killed me and all my teammates. And I thought I would be safe in the building, but I wasn't. So I thought that I felt bad, but it's actually very good that you could just, almost every building, I think, almost every building was destructible and called an airstrike. Was it artillery? I can't remember. Destroyed the entire building. I thought that was kind of cool. I can't give an opinion yet on RedSec, like in terms of a number rating, but for now, it's okay. Warzone, can I compare it to Warzone? Yeah, you can compare Warzone. It's the most direct comparison you can make. Is Warzone better? No, Warzone does have what's the other one? Rebirth. That's Rebirth mode. I don't know. I will give a RedSec review separate because it's a separate game, because it's a separate experience altogether. So that being said, Battlefield 6, 6.8 out of 10. Good basic gameplay, not enough maps, not enough modes, good graphics. The campaign, it's actually the first person shooter whose campaign I didn't finish, because the game had this, oh my god, maybe I should have scored the game lower for this, but it has this issue of installing the campaign, installing the high-res textures, and all this other nonsense. But I guess it's a way to save space on the system, but I just think the game should be the game. I do like the fact that it gives you the option of uninstalling the single player. But the single player mode, it's so forgettable. Like, I like Kincaid, but it's one thing to have a bad guy, but it's another thing to have the good guys who are memorable, and the good guys are not memorable. The first guy that you take control of, he sounds one way. Then when you see him, he looks different. Some kind of minority, and it doesn't sound like a minority. So it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, the game definitely did that on purpose to try to break your expectations. So like, a minority can sound normal or whatever, which I don't like. But and then the what they call him, JSOC, the command person is also a woman. Who are you trying to kill her in the house, or are you trying to prevent other people from killing her? I don't know. I don't get it. The game, the story mode, the campaign, it's so similar to Modern Warfare 2. That's the remake Modern Warfare 2. That it just seems so similar. You have some stupid girl boss who is the command person for the team, and they're sending them to a mission that they're not sure if they're not sure of her loyalty. It's too similar. I'm not impressed. They killed one of the guys in the squad, Kincaid did, and I felt nothing because I was like, who is that even? Murphy or who? Taylor? I don't know. So the campaign, I'm not impressed. I'm far more impressed with Battlefield 3's campaign and even Battlefield 4, because Battlefield 4 you had Wrecker, you had Irish, you had what's the guy? The guy is also in this game. I forget his name. The guy who wears the beanie. And then you had memorable scenes like burn those motherfuckers or punching the dog, or even at the end where you choose who you give the C4 to. Maybe this campaign at the end will have something memorable, but so far I'm not impressed. Campaign, I wouldn't give it a score until I complete it, if I complete it. But I'm not impressed. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Out.
Do I invoke the ancient pact of fighting? Once more, the wicked stand before us, threatening the sacred communion between your realm and mine.
We have been here before. We watch your petty world slumbering. You cannot defy the cold of our steel. You can only surrender.
I saw a long ship made of the claws of dead men. The wraiths drove everyone to the shore. My daughter too. No man who meets the hunt returns to this world.
I returned.